Sean is the CEO and co-founder of Graphico Singapore. He is also exco member of ASEAN Smart Cities Network. Sean is an advocate and aggregator for open and shareable 3D geo-referenced data platforms and formats. His past roles include president of Leica Geosystems Asia and leadership positions in Bentley Systems, Astoria Solutions, and Oracle Corporation. Sean, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Elle. And just doing a sound check, Elle. Can you hear me well?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great, and good afternoon to everybody. My name is Sean, and I'm one of the co-founders for Graphico. I'm going to keep it short. Simplicity is complexity resolved, right? So we understand that in the construction management project, it's highly complex. And so how do we use robotics and AI to try to make it simple? What I'm going to do, my approach today is simple. I'm just going to spend 10 minutes to be able to go through some ideas. I'm going to show you a quick video over 2 minutes, and then we'll spend some time on question and answer, and then I'll just summarize, right? So I'm not going to be long, and I hope that you'll be attentive enough to attract attention. Right, so what's the challenge in construction, right? So if you're building a single house, maybe the complexity is less, but if you are a major company that's managing multiple projects simultaneously all across the world or in multi-locations, as Oliver pointed out earlier, the McKinsey report says external forces, we have to deal with policy changes, corruption, complexity. Industry dynamics is constantly changing with this Ukraine war and the price of oil and the movement of products, or even firm level factors like project management or site supervision. How do we utilize technology to be able to bring all of these different interesting changes or moving parts and manage it in the complexity of a construction? And put that into perspective, right? In a construction project, you'll know there's so many moving parts because you're trying to manage a whole lot of resources to produce your goal, right? On top of that, with all these external forces. So what is it that we are looking for? Basically, every construction site needs to manage documents, needs to manage lots of Excels, plan printing, and on top of that, all of these time management of scaffolding material, utilization of material, and prefabrication, as we heard from the speaker from Nanya, right? And if you're in multi-locations, that adds a complexity of geography, of policy, and of local regulation. Now, what would be nice? If you were running a construction, you want to be able to put all of these data in a single view by project or by category so that you can have this information. But having a human being trying to put this information together is very tough, very long, very tedious, and many a times error prone. So we need to utilize the capture of AI or the capture of robotics to automate and make some of these activities simple. Now, of course, if you look at this sheet, right, this would be sort of like a dream dashboard for many construction project managers that are managing multiple projects, right? If it's a single project, they may have this at their fingertips, but if they're looking at 4 or 5 projects at the same time, this is like, wow, can I get this? And that's what we aspire to try to help our customers get, right, or achieve. And how do we do that? So it's a multiple process of technology. The first is we utilize drones to capture pictures. We process these pictures into 3D, and then we host those pictures in 3D so that you can utilize that. And the output of that basically will provide what we call as a construction digital twin, where we can reproduce the physical layer and then layer the digital information. And this could be your Excel sheets, this could be the drawings, this could be your BIM, this could be your layout, this could be the architect's impression or the elevation diagrams, right? And then layer on the spatial layer with sensors, and these are the IoTs, the sensors that are coming from the robotics, from the 360 cameras that builds or collects information. Now, with all of that put together, what we will create is something like this. So what you see on your left is a view of the construction site in 3D. And as we start to zoom in into this particular orange area, you will see the material, right? And if you start zooming in even further, you can see this material. And because of the type of technology that is now available in composition with some AI, we are now able to calculate material, right? So if there's steel being delivered, you can automatically calculate from this picture how much of that steel was utilized over the last 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, how much was delivered, and over a period of time, how much was used. And you can sort of calculate pilferage if there's any happening on site due to the level of detail that's possible. Now, in a construction, of course, you're trying to project the concept of, okay, this is what we're trying to do, this is where we want to put the material, this is how we want to organize the construction site. And all of this information can then be organized and displayed on a digital twin, which will of the construction site, right? And then this can be shared with the whole construction contractors or subcontractors that are part and parcel of running the project, right? So every site has multiple subcontractors that's running concurrently. So what we're trying to do here is to make sure that everybody has the same view of what's happening or what they need to watch out for, what are the safety aspects that need to be run. We also can use this as a view to try to tell what the future looks like when the construction is ready. And therefore, this is what we need to be preparing for, right? So the view of the future based on architect's impression. We can also, as construction is progressing, we can review the plan versus the as-built, right? Not just at completion, but as it's being built. Utilize AI to determine what has changed from the plan versus what is being built. Are we in sync? And that can be done week on week or month on month or every 2 weeks, depending on the schedule and speed of construction, right? And this will play a major view in the future for review of the quality assurance, safety aspects, material, or trying to re-regulate change management on warranties. Now, in a construction site, also, very quickly, we want to be able to identify what are the changes that has taken place. And so we can build some features that will automatically detect changes that happen within the site that runs from the naked eye. So the naked eye may not be able to see this, but based on pixelation down to 1 centimeter, we will be able to pick up the changes that has taken place in the construction site. Now, if we use some AI to monitor construction, we can also, again, zoom in, looking at the construction site, but layer this with IoT, right? So in this case, we layer it with some form of a sensor, which could be a CCTV, or it could be a movement sensor or weight sensor, or a whole lot of stuff. And then from there, review the activities that's taking place, so we can sort of oversee if there are any accident prones or there are any incursion in safety protocols, right? Or using AI, as I said, to measure the delivery of material, monitor it, and the utilization of this material to understand where pilferages may have taken place, or the constant utilization of this material is according to plan, right? And over time, we can again use this AI to monitor the changes, right? So in this case, what on the left, you will see a picture of a construction site just starting, and on the right, the completion of that construction, over the next 24 months. I'm just showing you the extreme from 0 to completion, but it can be a weekly capture, it can be a monthly update of how the construction looks like over time, right? Or it can be as simple as looking at the defects, right? To maintain the defects register or the complaints register, and to ensure the workflow to the relevant contractors to fix these problems, right? Now, instead of just using the layout plan to identify, we now can use actual pictures to identify the problem that needs to be remedied or that needs to be adjusted. Or utilizing our AI tools to identify whether the safety measures have been implemented correctly, right? So, you know, the safety protocols or measure of these nets, to the drop caught catch nets, as part of your safety measure. Now, in order to look at all of this, we partner with our partner Executive Eye to pool all of this construction information and this complexity of managing the documentation, managing the protocols of construction, as well as the processes and the drawings and the materials that is part and parcel, to provide this final dashboard that construction site managers or even owners would like to have or would like to be able to see, where they can know it's now not just a static piece of paper that tells you the information, but it's a interactive visual that tells you, okay, these files have been used and these are the locations and this is what it looks like, and you can zoom in and zoom out and virtually feel as though you are on site, right? And this sort of now allows construction managers, supervisors, or site supervisors to manage multiple sites, but yet not need to be on site, right? And that's sort of like a Star Wars. You can beam these site managers to all the different sites as and when they require, and so they can have a feel of what's happening at that site this week, in 2 weeks' time, or in 3 weeks' time, or whatever that is, or what happened 5 weeks ago, right? Because some accident has happened today, and we want to review whether what we did 5 weeks ago was according to plan, and they can then review that as part of their audit measure. Right. Now, some of the projects that we have done is way bits and a whole lot of different areas, mostly around contractors for the MRT lines as well as for cities, right? But what I would like to share with you now is just a short video to give you an idea. What I showed you just now was really lots of static. Now I'm trying to bring the flavor of how this 3D visualization will look like in a construction and a completed environment. So in what you're seeing on screen, Oliver, if I could just check, if you nod your head if you see the video running. Yeah, okay, great, thanks. So there's a whole lot of data that can be filled in as you are watching, identifying the location, the layout, the floor. We can insert and put in plans that are relevant, or even insert photographs or 3D images of the internals, right? And this can facilitate the as the construction is happening, what type of materials are you using? How is it being done? Is it being organized correctly? Are the color coordination right? Right. So if you want it to be done in a certain way, has that been done correctly before they sort of plaster it up? Now, in this case, we can layer this with the multiple types of sensors that could be available, from temperature, CCTV, movement sensors, to fire alarms, and bring this data into this 3D to make it come alive, right? Now, in a complaint management, we can integrate a complaint management system right into the view, so that you can then provide the work schedule or the work order to the relevant technicians to go out there and get this job done, fixed, and exactly understand where it is. Now, if you are trying to plan a new building, you can identify where this building is, identify potentially where you want to put billboards, where you want to set up your material site, where you want to set up your site office. All of this can be pre-organized according to the real site, but done from the comfort of your office. And even like what we are doing today in a Zoom call, we could have 20 people on a call and we can all agree this is what we're going to be, how this is going to be implemented. Now, as we know, a picture paints 1,000 words. So using these pictures to try to get that message across eliminates any ambiguity, any miscommunications, and the ability to make sure the job is done correctly, swiftly, and efficiently. And so with that, I'm going to pause my presentation and any questions.